If you haven't witnessed the show on Meet Houston, this is a show where we talk about everything that's happening within the city. But we got some new additions this season. So let me introduce you to the new additions to our season 2 of Meet Houston. Welcome, ladies. How will you introduce yourself to those who do not know you on Meet Houston?
Hi guys, my name is Chris Bryant. Hey y'all, hey. I am the host of the City Highlights here on GMT every Monday through Friday from 2 to 4.
Hello everybody, my name is Latisa B and I am a grief coach and the host of Overcoming and Becoming, a TV show that premieres on Promote Her TV.
Man, it is going to be an amazing season. If you know, like I know, I love to have conversations. And myself and these amazing ladies have had some conversations that you do not want to miss. So we're going to go into a commercial break. I am one of the hosts of Meet Houston. My name is Mika Diamond. I am also the host of the Morning Tea Radio Show. But we got so much more to talk about. So we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back. Another season 2, episode 1 with my girl Chris and my girl Latisa B. How did we get to season 2? Let's talk about that, ladies. How did we get here together?
It all started with that Black Girl Magic.
Black Girl Magic. How we do the Black Girl Magic? So Chris, tell us, how did you come up with Black Girl Magic? And then have myself and Latisa B on it.
It wasn't very hard. I wanted to do something to showcase my phenomenal sisters. Like, you guys are amazing women. And I wanted to bring light to that. Highlight the city highlights.
Right.
So I thought I'm going to highlight my sisters. And then it would also give us an opportunity to share what we have coming up, to also empower and encourage. And the rest is just Black Girl Magic.
Listen, Latisa, you had the energy of all energies, honey. So let's talk about how excited you were on that episode of the City Highlights.
Yeah, with the City Highlights, when it came together, I just thought it was just, hey, these are my girlfriends I'm getting together with. They just happen to be phenomenal women. So it was such an easy conversation. And some of the things that we were talking about, it's just who I was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I had to prepare for it or anything. I just spoke what was on my mind. And what was on my mind, oh my goodness.
And we spoke it. And if y'all missed it, you better stick around for season 2 because it's going to be an amazing experience for each one of you who watch. So let's talk about what's happening on season 2 this season. So we got
Houston Fun Facts.
And we have what Houston's happening.
Man, what is happening in Houston? And I know we are in a time where we don't know what's happening in Houston, but your girl got all the scoop on what's happening in the city. And then we got something new that we didn't have in season 1 of Meet Houston. We have the Rose Bowl Chronicles. And boy, the Rose Bowl Chronicles, we don't know where that's going to go. It's for men and for women, so we don't discriminate, and we're going to tell you all about that. So let's talk about what's happening. What's some of the fun facts in Houston?
Fun facts in Houston, a lot of people don't know. Houston has the most amazing culinary scene. We have 10,000 restaurants that represent over 70 countries.
Wow.
That part.
You know,
I
like So not only do we have some fun facts in Houston, but we need to know what's all that's happening in the city. So share with us what's going on in Houston.
Well, just to piggyback off of what Chris says, we have Houston Restaurant Week has been extended to the end of September. So if you want to get some of that fine dining within a reasonable price, check out the Houston Restaurant Week.
Yes. Yeah, we did. You can check it out.
Yeah, that's where that Chronicles
Yeah. No, that whole conversation.
The
Oh my
conversation.
God.
Man, oh
Yeah.
man. So guess what? You better stick around after the break because we're gonna talk all about what we started during Houston Restaurant Week. So y'all be right there when we come back.
Are you having child support issues? Are you going through a divorce? Are you going through a custody battle? I know that your family, children, and property are very important to you, and having to navigate through the legal system is probably one of the most difficult experiences you will have to encounter in your lifetime. Please call the Jones Law Firm at 713-222-0196. The Jones Law Firm is committed to helping you in your time of need. Call 713-222-0196 to schedule a consultation today.
Welcome back to the first episode of the second season of Meet Houston.
Wow, so excited about this season. So before we went to the break, we talked about something that we're adding to Meet Houston this season, which is definitely going to be mind-boggling for some. We have the Rose Bowl Chronicles. So what happens with the Rose Bowl Chronicles? We're going to have conversations that come straight out the Rose Bowl. So we had a conversation last week during our experience in Restaurant Week that raised some eyebrows, raised some voices.
To be a fly on the wall.
So what did we talk about, ladies? We talked about expectation versus
Accustomed to.
Yes.
and was it a conversation? So I know that the coach over here, she had her own perspective and was pretty stern and firm within the conversation.
Adamant about it.
And then my sister over here got a little loud and was trying to understand the difference in the two. So let's talk about that because I think that people don't understand the difference in the two. So let's share your perspective.
I believe there is a difference between the two for the simple fact that accustomed to is something that there is a little leeway in accustomed to. But expectation, there is no exception. I expect this, so there is no deviation from the program. But accustomed to, I might like this, but I'm okay if you don't. I may let you slide, but I'm not going to hold it against you.
Y'all see, she rose up and
Yes.
got a little firm in that conversation. So she really does feel.
I feel that way. Yes, in my heart.
Well,
So we have a difference in an opinion.
I agree with her to a certain extent. But from life experiences, I've learned when I have expectations, I get disappointed. So what I figured out is to accept people for who they are. And I let them know what things that I'm accustomed to. And then either to be in my space, that's how you're going to have to roll. But I'm not going to have expectations for you because I feel like you're going to let me down. And rather than put myself in that position, I'll just tell you what my customizations are. And if you don't get it,
So I agree with both of you. I agree because there is an expectation, right? You go into an expectation of this is from previous relationships and what you
Right.
will go for and what you won't. But there are people who have been brought up differently. And so the things that we may expect in one person, they may not even understand it in the next person. In the next, you know what I mean?
right.
So, but then once you have the conversation
Conversation.
Yes.
of this is what my expectation is,
Right.
then it's a little different because if I have a conversation with you and then you just throw out the window what we've discussed, then we have a problem.
And I
Yeah,
totally agree with you.
yeah.
Totally
And then
agree.
accustomed to, that could be opening and closing the door.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't want to throw away a valuable person
Mhm.
because of I found that in my past, when they didn't meet up to my expectations and I discarded them, I threw away valuable people. So I've learned to kind of teach them how to treat me. Let them know what my customizations is. And then I have expectations, but not in the beginning.
So I gotta ask my sister over here. 'Cause
You know.
she's
She gonna
Rose
double down.
rolled up in her chair,
Yes.
straightened her back, and was really firm. So how do you feel about that?
I believe that expectations without expectations, that means you really don't have standards. And expectations is linked to the standard. So I have a certain standard of the way that I allow people to treat me, of the treatment that I give to everybody else. There's a certain expectation there. So I do believe there's still a difference, and maybe it's more of the terminology that we're using, but we're kind of saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But there is a difference between
Yeah.
the words accustomed and expectation. Because I have an expectation, which I didn't know for the longest time what it is that I needed or what it was that I expected. I just received whatever was given to me.
Now that's a good point.
Yes. It wasn't until I got some things that was really, really good, and I'm like, oh, I like this.
Right.
Going forward, I'm going to expect that everybody I date going to show me affection.
So it's almost like you don't want to demote your expectation
Exactly.
based on what you receive.
Exactly.
Now, that's a different perspective.
I can. Now that point makes that perspective a little clearer, because my thing was, first you said dating, and I thought just mid-period, like how overall, I don't have expectations for people because I've learned they let you down. But you're right, when it comes to dating, I can definitely see that. And slightly I'm a little different when it comes to dating. But
girl, I have expectations of anybody that's in my circle. And when I say it's a certain level of expectation, though, because, we are connected by all different ways. And there's things that I expect out of you, Chris, as my girlfriend that I don't expect out of Mika as my girlfriend, because we have different relationships.
true, right.
So there is a level of expectation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just the relationship we have.
That's
I
a
agree
good
with
point.
that, Fanny. I agree with that, Fanny. I still feel like, you'll make a customization for people you love. I mean, just think about it. There are deal breakers that we said nobody else would get away with, but we've got into relationships and we value people enough to where we'll rather communicate and work through it than to discard them. So that point, I lowered my expectation, not overall, but just in that instance, because I want it to be a case-by-case scenario.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to be firm on those expectations. But for the most part, I don't want to walk around with that weight of having expectations and you let me down and then I'm disappointed. So I tell you what my accommodations are, what I'm accustomed to. I expect for you to deliver. But when you don't, I haven't set myself up for failure.
That's
because
good.
it wasn't my expectations. It
Yeah.
was what I asked you to do.
Right.
And if you don't, I know you're not a responsible adult, and then I remove you from my situation. It can be
Listen, I have grown, but you have to give you some grace in areas and
Yes.
growth, because everybody is not on the level of what your expectation may be at the moment.
Right.
So you have to decide if the individual is the person that's worth
Yes.
the struggle of, okay, are we gonna go through this coaching process,
Or
or are we going to just
gonna-
let them leave?
I'm
So
gonna meet you where you at.
yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
And I won't allow you in any deeper. Because see, that's when you don't get let down.
Yeah,
Because when
surface
you
level.
allow people to connect to that heart and you become vulnerable with them, that's when people get let down.
Right.
But if I see who you are, I know you don't live up to the expectations that I expect out of a friend. I'm gonna keep you at the associate level.
Yeah.
So the associate level, you haven't made it into my heart. You haven't made it into that vulnerable space. So no matter whether you do what I expect you to do, it doesn't matter because you didn't touch there anyway.
Whew, as
I
you
agree
can
with that,
see,
sis.
Yeah.
as you can see, it gets heated up during the Rose Bowl Chronicles. So we are super excited to add this segment to the show, because you all want a girlfriend that you can just have a conversation with that's not judgmental,
Right.
that's not someone that you can be able to, somebody that you can be able to talk to and
Right.
talk to. So we are excited about the Rose Bowl conversation. So let's sprinkle. And we're going to get into a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Brittany and I work for SIGA Mental Health Services. Over the decade, our agency has had the pleasure of working with Medicaid companies here in Houston, Texas. We're proudly happy to serve our patients at this time. We are here to help. Rest assured that SIGA Mental Health Services is ready and prepared to offer telehealth services for case management, teletherapy, and psychiatry services. With COVID-19 sweeping our world, our industry is challenged more so than ever. We have people dealing with the loss of a loved one, social isolation, social distraction, kids that are home with behavioral health issues, no one to talk to, no therapist, no medication. SIGA is here to help. Our industry needs us at this time. Here are some adjustments that we're making just for you. We have a 24/7 appointment line that right now you can call to get an appointment with the licensed therapist. We also are offering medication appointments with psychiatrists, psychiatric nurse practitioners, and psychiatric nurses. In addition, we have case managers ready and willing to teach you how to deal with social isolation, how to deal with social distancing. If you are in need of services, feel free to give us a call at 281 936-0047. If you are a discharge planner at a psychiatric facility, we are still accepting 7-day follow-up appointment for patients discharging from the hospital. We would like to take this time to thank our essential personnel that are putting their lives on the line fighting this virus, COVID-19, daily. God bless this nation and God bless the world. We're here for you.
Welcome back to season 2, first episode of Meet Houston. And if you are just now tuning in to our first episode, we were talking about our new segment, Rose Bowl Chronicles. In our segment, we talked about expectations versus accustomed to. And we had different perspectives, but we agreed to disagree. So now we're going to talk about some experiences. Because I know, Chris didn't want any disappointment. So let's talk. Did you have any disappointments with versus expectation versus accustomed to?
Definitely. That is kind of, because I used to think like her.
Mm.
Like in my youth, that's where I was with it. You gonna do what I expect, and if you can't live up to my expectations, but in life, like I said, perfect example. I got disappointed. People they're not raised the same. They don't have the same ideology as you, and sometimes you have to learn people and grow. And even myself have evolved from who I was and what I wanted. So those expectations are not even the same. So I just started sharing things that I'm accustomed to. And then that's where the expectations come in. Because once I put you in that position, then I'm going to expect you to know my customizations. But I don't go in with that. I'd rather have some feelings for you first before I let you disappoint me. Because if you disappoint me before I get the feelings, it's over. So I really wanted to invest in people and stop having these quick over one and done because they didn't live up to my expectations.
Yeah.
And it just went
So
off from there.
I agree that with growth, I have learned too that my expectations and standards, see that those two words will make you think they almost are the same. When you say your standards, what you're gonna go with and what you won't. You have to have certain standards. Like for instance, I won't let down you not opening up the door for me. Like that's a standard and an expectation. And so if I have that, I believe I shouldn't have to tell you that that's what you're supposed to do. So,
but the first time he doesn't do it, is it over? Or do you explain to him, I like doors open, this is what I'm accustomed to, and then expect that?
But it all goes back to how I feel about the individual. Because, if you feel a certain type of way about somebody, you will let some things go.
And so is it now an accustomed or is it an expectation? Because at an expectation, no.
We can go on all day.
But if I'm accustomed to you guys opening my door, but if I really like you, okay, I'll open my own door.
I don't know about that.
Just one time. I'm opening I'm gonna excuse you, but it's not opening my door for me. I'm not gonna get rid of you right away because you sure is cute.
I might just stand at the door. I'm just gonna stand and wait. I'm never gonna open the door because those what I'm accustomed to. But
now let me ask you this, Miss Disappointment. If he don't open up that door, are you gonna be disappointed?
Probably.
Are you going to cut him off?
Probably not, because he's not at that point yet. I'm not putting my expectations on him. When it gets to my expectations, you have value, and then I have so much invested in you that I expect a ROI. I've invested in you, but these fly by, the scene. No.
So my thing, I love the way you say you have invested in that person. Me, I don't want to invest in something that doesn't even have a minimum ROI that I can receive.
But how do you know?
How do I know? Because I have a certain,
back.
just say, for example, I have a certain level of expectation. If I am dating someone,
okay,
I expect a certain level of attention.
Okay.
I expect a certain level of communication.
Mm-hmm.
But within that first week or two, if I'm not getting that, because I need that, that's a need of mine. If I'm not getting that, I'm not going to invest any more time into you so you can figure out what it is because at a minimum, you don't have the minimum requirements for me to take it to the next level to want to invest in you because you don't even know how to communicate.
The question, what if an individual has grew up in a home where it, as we all in our culture, what goes on in the house stays in the house. You
Right.
stay in a
Yes.
child's
Yes.
place.
Right.
So there's
Yes.
certain conversations that you don't have.
Yes.
And so that's something that you have to learn in growth. Some people don't learn that until they're with somebody who coaches them through the process. Are you saying that you would just cut them off
Just
and think,
discard them.
if they crossed out all the I's,
Everything else
all
is
the
good.
T's,
Mhm.
everything is good, but they have this little one thing that they're
A
having
teachable
issues
thing.
with.
It depends on whether I'm willing to invest in
Mm,
them. Am I willing to coach somebody to a certain level?
mm.
Am I willing?
But you
Do
know,
I
in the
like you
beginning, you
enough?
meet the representative anyway.
Do I like them enough to want to invest my time and
Yeah.
energy in it? That's what it's all about. It's about us, not trying to raise somebody else and not trying to teach somebody
I
else
agree
because
with
we're
that.
at a certain
Yeah.
level in our life.
Right.
That's
right.
just me.
No, I agree with that part. That
Right.
part.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, we can have this conversation on and on for days to come. And I'm sure we will have more conversations when it comes to this because this is something that people need to understand.
Right.
Understand the difference in the two and have a self-reflection of yourself to, you know what, I do expect.
Right.
I am accustomed to. I do have standards. So we are super excited about this season. As you can see, the Rose Bowl Chronicles can get real heavy, hot, steamy, and everything else. So we're super excited. So you guys, make sure that you stay connected to us. We are on every Wednesday night. We will have guests that will be on the show as well. More conversations, more Houston fun facts, what's happening in the city of Houston. But before we leave, we want to make sure that everybody knows how to follow us. So Chris, you tell them, how do they follow you?
Definitely on all platforms. Chris Bryant, KrisBryant. That's on Facebook, Instagram. I don't tweet, so you can't find me there. But Chris Bryant, and you can find me. But go past the baseball player because I'm not him.
What about you, Chris?
You can find me also on the same media platforms as Chris. I'm on Facebook at Latisa B. I'm also at _Latisa B on Instagram. And you can find information on the show at OMB with Latisa.
As you can see, we got a lot going on, but we are super excited about our episodes of Meet Houston. So make sure that you follow us. You can follow myself. I am Mika Diamond on any of my social media platforms, Facebook as well as Instagram, or Visible Evidence. It's spelled VZABLE, evidence like evidence in court. And you can follow me every Monday through Friday on gmtradio.com, the Morning Tea Radio Show from 8 o'clock a.m. to 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you on the next episode.